Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Hollywood Mac Connelly Live. This is Hollywood Mac Connelly with the double biceps. It is in the contract a legal requirement every single time we appear on camera. It's making sure that the lawyers are happy. The boxes have been ticked. They definitely saw two biceps there. There is one there. There is the other one right there. So we are here to talk to Gregg Sharp today. He is running a little bit late. I'm sure he'll pop in. But yes, we've got the schedule. People are here, and away we go. But I'm sure when Greg gets in, we'll just add him to the stream, and we'll flow on quite nicely. But Gregg Sharp, for those who don't know, is the owner and the man behind the World Series of Arm Wrestling, which has put on some absolutely enormous tournaments throughout the year in the United States with huge big prize pools. They had prize pools of what was it like? I think it was they had over $100,000 that they were giving away, which is absolutely astronomical. And I think they're aiming for over $250,000 in prize money to be given away for 2025. So definitely keep an eye out for the World Series of Arm Wrestling tournaments and events. If they are in your area, then you will be a richer arm wrestler if you go and attend and do well. So, because I think that a lot of people are sort of not realizing that they could go and attend one of these events and walk away with, maybe $2,000 or $3,000, and it's quite viable and quite a realistic scenario to be able to do that. So, very, very amazing stuff to see. And Greg is also launching, I believe it's a network television station where he has over 100 different TV shows going on, and one of which will be dedicated to arm wrestling, which is absolutely incredible. Very excited to hear about that and get the specifics on how that works. I hope everyone had a good Merry Christmas. We've got some of the legends here in the chat. We've got Phil Woody all the way from the UK. Great to see you here. And we've got the Schmo. Schmo is always one of those legendary arm wrestling stream chatters. You'll see him in nearly every arm wrestling stream around. We've got the Drew, the legendary Drew, the Drew 24. There is 24 of the Drews, and this is the 24th one that is here today. The other 23 are watching any other arm wrestling streams that are on at the moment. Mr. Peanut is here as well. He's got, we got here a cowboy hat, a waving hand, and a cheers icon. Very nice. And Peter Westjanko is also here. He is from Australia, one of the very good arm wrestlers over in New South Wales. Haven't seen you compete for a little while, Peter, but I'd look forward to it. Hopefully you're still training and everything. And I think there was one moment where you had dropped off a little bit because you'd really gotten into, what game was it? It was an online game. I'm thinking it was League of Legends, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Anyway, let me put that up on the screen so everyone can see what. I'm getting feedback about how my hair is sticking up. It's because of the stupid strap thing with this. There. There we go. It's the headphones come with a nice strap to support your head. The problem is it makes your hair stick up and look silly. It's one of the features they don't write on the box. This will make your hair look stupid. Some people want that. But yeah, maybe that's why they don't advertise it. Only a select few. It's a very small audience. It's like what I need in a set of headphones is I really want them to make my hair look stupid. We've got just the thing. Yeah, that's the one. Great. Yes. I have a good friend of mine that is sending me messages on a different platform saying your hair looks stupid. Thank you for that. But yes, we have solved that. By the way, we're just waiting for Greg to come in, but we'd love to hear from you guys. If you are watching, say something in the chat here and give me something to work with. so that I can chat with you guys. Otherwise, you're just going to have to put up with me making silly jokes about headphones and straps, which is what I'm happy to do. I can do that. If that's what the people demand, if there's anything that is missing in the world, it's more jokes about headphone straps. Well, I can talk about arm wrestling, which is what we're all part of. So our club at the SA Titans Arm Wrestling Club, the last month has been a little bit quieter. We've had a bit of a drop off in numbers, and I would say that's due to the time of the year. Everyone's sort of having end of year Christmas parties, and plus the weather here in Australia, it is summertime, so it does get very, very hot. Which can affect people's motivation. We have training on Sunday evenings, it's basically 6 p.m. Sunday, 6 p.m. Sunday till 8:30, and if it's a super hot day, sometimes you'll see people just be like, "I'm just not going to go there today." Mr. Peanut has a question. Have I got another movie project brewing? It's a good question. This is one of the things with doing acting work is sometimes you forget what you've done because you do it and then it takes years to come out. So, because the Speedhood movie that I was in, we filmed that close to 3 years ago, and it's only just come out now, and it's still not available in Australia, which is very frustrating. But yeah, I would have done a lot since then, but I'm just trying to think of what I've done that might be coming up. I did a movie a couple of weeks ago called The Fox, and it was with Jai Courtney and Emma Browning. There was a lot of Australian big names in it as well. I wasn't a big part of that. I was just an extra for that day. That day I was there for a week, but yeah. So that would be something. Although I think in the final cut, I won't be featured. You might see my leg. That's my leg right there. That's me. I'm in the movie. So I don't know. The good thing, if you ever get the opportunity to do extras work, go and do it because it's very, very easy work. I think I was there 14-hour days, and I would have actually been on set, like on the actual set of the scene. So out of 14 hours, maybe 7 or 8 minutes. The rest of the time, you're free to do what you like. So you're getting paid reasonably well to go hang out in the green room the entire day, play on your phone, talk to the other extras, do whatever. They feed you. You get free food. There's coffee and tea and biscuits and all sorts of things all day. It's a pretty good gig. And then when you get on the set to do your scene, or the actors are doing their scene, you're the background. So it's a very simple process. You don't have lines or dialogue or whatever. Usually you'll have a third AD, which is the assistant director, the third man in charge on the set, and they will usually be coordinating the extras, and they'll tell you what to do, or go and stand over there, and you guys are pretending to have a conversation, and here's a beer, and here's a fake cigarette, and and on action, when he says this line, I just want you to turn that way. Like, you don't have to do anything. Don't make any noise. Don't make it obvious. You're the background. You don't want to be bringing attention to yourself. Whatever. Easy. And then, okay, they do that, and they film that scene 50 times from different angles, and you sit there and you wait for that line, you turn that way, and very simple work. It couldn't be easier, really. Sounds like you can bulk up and get paid. Not bad. Yeah, absolutely. It is definitely one of those things that if you get the opportunity, or even if you're looking for some extra cash or just a side hustle gig or something like that, extras work is incredibly easy work. And depending on where you live, if you're in the United States, they make a lot more films there. And they always need extras because depending on the scene, if they need 100 people to make a crowd, it's like, okay, we need 100 people that are going to be reliable, that are going to turn up, they're going to wear the wardrobe that they're required to wear, and they're going to be here all day and available because they always run late. It's one of those things. If they give you, it's a 4-hour call, Yeah, that is not a 4-hour call. They don't even get started by the time 4 hours are in. 4 hours, you would be lucky to have been through wardrobe, makeup, and they would have even finishing the setup. So yeah, that's a tip. If you are going to do it, whatever time frame they give you, they're going to run way over that. All right, here we go. Recently, an arm wrestler stole something from another arm wrestler and at a tournament, I guess, at a tournament, and was proven on surveillance camera. Has anyone done anything illegal at one of your events? And what should be the consequence? I haven't heard of that happening anywhere apart from your comment, Drew. And that's the first time I've heard that as well. It depends on what it is. I mean, that's a police matter, really. Yeah, if somebody's stealing from somebody else, it's the same as if they were stealing at a shop or they're stealing anywhere. If they're stealing in an arm wrestling event, it's exactly the same consequences. If they're caught on surveillance camera, ring the police, show them the footage. This guy stole this thing. Depending on the victim, what they want to do with it. It's like, do you want to press charges or not? The evidence is there, or do you want to just talk to the guy? And if he gives it back, will you be satisfied with that? I mean, it's a lot of different factors to that. What consequences? Again, it just depends on the situation. If it's like they took somebody's strap and maybe they did it by accident or something like that, it could be a misunderstanding. But if they stole their phone or they stole stole their car, or I don't know, something like that, obviously there would be a different set of consequences. But as far as them competing in future tournaments and stuff, it really just depends on the circumstances. With the example you've got there, they stole something, so I don't have a lot to go on. If you know what it was, just that would be able to give me a framework to give you a better answer. And USS Liberty Never Forget says, I wish all of us guys were as handsome as you. Thank you very much. That is a very nice of you to say. I do have help from my headphones, the strap. It does amazing things for my hair. If I took this off, you would be disgusted. You'd be like, who is that disgusting, ugly bastard that's on the screen there? Put the headphones back on quickly. No, so we were talking about extras work in movies and stuff like that. So if people have been on movie sets before, they would know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you haven't, there is a lot of waiting around, and the adage of hurry up and wait is completely true. They are desperately in a rush to get you to set. You must be there at this time, and you can't be running late. And if you are, it's a big deal, and there's a problem. Well, we might be delayed because of that. You get there. Let's say I'm the principal actor, right? Let's say I'm the lead actor for the movie, and my call time is 6 p.m. It's a night shoot, right? 6 p.m. Headphones. I just saw that. That's really good. Yeah, so 6 p.m. is the call time. Okay, awesome. Great. Let's say I get there at 6:30. The crew may be freaking out because, you're running late or whatever. Reality is, if I got there at 6 or if I got there at 6:30, it's not going to make any difference because they won't be ready until like 8:30, if not later. So you get there at 6. You're like, hey, I'm here. Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, awesome. Just go through the wardrobe. Yeah, okay, no worries. You go see the wardrobe lady. She tells you what to wear. You get changed. And then they get approval from the director. Yeah, cool, no worries. And then they'll take a photo of you for continuity purposes. Okay, we'll get you in the makeup. Do makeup. Depending on what the scene is, depending if it's a horror film, you got to get all blood all over you or whatever. Usually it's very simple powdering. The reason they put powder on you, and they do this for everybody regardless, is to prevent shining, so your face doesn't shine under the lights. But yeah, so you've got that aspect of it. So once you've done wardrobe and makeup, then it's like, okay, yeah, you're cool, you're ready to go. It's like, all right, I'm ready to go. It's like, yep. So just go sit in the green room. We'll call you when we need you. And you sit in the green room for the 3 hours. And then they'll say, "Oh, we need you on the set. Big rush. Oh, yeah, we're ready for you. Oh, fuck. Yeah, quick, get in there. All right, let's run through the scene. Okay. You know your lines? Yes. Okay, cool. All right, we'll block out the scene. Blocking out the scene. I know why I'm talking about this, but because we're waiting on Greg, and it's just like something to talk about. And maybe some people find it interesting. But yeah, it's blocking out a scene means when you are running through a scene, you're rehearsing it, and it's like, how are we going to film this? Like, what angle? Where are you going to stand on this line? Can you just kind of do it a couple of times? We'll figure out. Maybe if you go on that, if you sit on that chair there and spin. I don't know if you go over there on that line, and then can you hit this mark? Can we get the grip to put some tape down, just an X on there? So when you get to that, just make sure you hit the X. Don't look that way because we'll see your reflection. I don't know, but you sort of figure out the blocking of the scene, and then it's showtime. It's like, all right, let's run through a rehearsal, and you rehearse the scene. Yeah, it looks all good. Actually, can we just change that a little bit? You see how you're saying that word there? Can you just put a little bit more emphasis on that word? Yep, great. All right, cool. All right, let's do a proper one. We'll go for a take. Ready, everyone, quiet on set, blah, 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 action. You do the scene. And one of the things is if you finish your last line or the last action, you stay in the character, you stay in the moment until they call cut, because you don't want to just be like, oh, yeah, here's my final line. And then just be like, looking at the camera and the crew, and it's like, what are you doing? We need you to stay in the fucking moment for a couple more seconds, because if we're filming that, we want to be able to cut back to you and that sort of thing. So it's one of those tips for all of you aspiring actors. I know all of you in the comments are definitely going to be using this advice sooner rather than later. But yeah, it's one of those things that stay in the moment until they call cut, and then they'll say, yeah, that worked out well. Usually, if they want to do another take, like if you got everything correct, they'll do another one for safety, just in case anything went wrong with the filming. But usually, if they want to do multiple takes, like again and again and again and again, and you're doing the exact same thing over and over and over, it's not you, it's them. There's something wrong from their aspect. Like maybe the lights are not completely correct, or maybe the focus pull isn't working exactly the way that they want it to. So yeah, that's tends to be the case. I think some people get a little bit like, oh no, I've done this for 12 times. It's the 12th time I've done this. Maybe they're not happy with it, and then it's like, no. Just keep doing exactly until if you're doing what you're doing and they're not telling you to change it, just keep doing that. Keep doing the same thing, because it's more than likely an issue from their side. Maybe they're getting the boom in picture, like every now and then it's like, oh, got the boom in. Yeah, let them run through the scene anyway. And then at the end, we'll just shoot it again. And we'll glare at the sound guy because he ruined the take and he knows it and everyone else knows it. And we're going to stare at him and make him feel bad for doing that, but we're not going to call it out. Or something might fall off the wall, or I don't know. I had that a few times. In Spithood, we were doing a lot of chasing scenes, and we were running through a university, which was supposed to be a prison. And so the guys, every time we were filming a scene, they would have to go and remove all of the university pictures and posters and directions and stuff like that, so that it wasn't like in the movie you're running down a prison hallway and then the next shot you're running down a university hallway. It's like, oh, it will take you out of the moment for a second. So they're very vigilant on making sure that they get rid of all of the insignia that is on the walls and that sort of thing. But yeah, I had it a few times. We're running past, because we're running fast. Like I was running full sprint, and you build up that air behind you, and then you're whipping past doors, and the posters on the doors, are blowing and then falling off, and that would happen as the scene was just about to end, and so you'd be standing still, and then you'd hear a poster fall off the wall, and it's like, God damn it, we're gonna do that again. So yeah. Little things like that. But that's the joy of filmmaking, I guess. The fun bit is actually doing the acting. The rest of it is kind of boring. But if you have the ability to uh, be happy to be quiet in the corner for many, many hours uh, and entertain yourself in certain aspects, because you can't really make a lot of noise on film sets. One of the reasons is that the guys with those boom mics, the ones that are holding it like this and the big stick thing, they are very, very sensitive. And if you are talking, or even if you're all the way on the other side of the room, and they're about to film something, that sound guy is going to be like, I can hear somebody's talking, and they'll be like, quiet on set, and they'll yell at usually at the person towards the person who's making the noise, quiet on set, because they're disturbing the recording, and you can't use the scene if the sound has somebody talking in the background. Anyway, that's the point of all of that. I don't know how we got there, but whatever. Drew did answer that. The comment from earlier about if something was stolen, and says it was a phone purse, it was retrieved. It was another arm wrestle, wasn't it? Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's an interesting situation. It's just outside of police. What if anything from arm wrestling community and the event? To me, the arm wrestling community are brothers, family to me. Yeah, it again, mate, it really just depends on the person, the situation, because it's hard to make a blanket statement like, "Oh, ban him forever. He's never allowed back." Because maybe I don't know, there might be some serious issues going on there that cause that behavior to happen, or there's too many hypotheticals there to give a very simple answer. Discussing vigilante justice is incriminating. Well, incriminating. No. But it's one of those things is you're given a scenario. A lot of the times you want to give an answer. You want to give a correct answer or a straight answer and say, oh, well, if this happens, this should be the result. But there's always circumstances that go into every situation. And it can be, that zero tolerance can be detrimental, because it can harm people that were, maybe they made a mistake, or maybe just in that moment they weren't thinking or whatever, and now they're punished permanently for their life, over something very, very minor. Just depend on the situation. The guy who stole was named Caleb Armbender. He's from California in the 75 kilo range. Well, it's almost like the consequences of him doing that are far worse, with all of us talking about it and knowing who he is in the arm wrestling community, than any sort of police punishment. I'm sure even with a phone purse, here in Australia, that's a pretty minor incident. And if you got caught, yeah, sure, the police probably arrest you, take your details, let you out. You'd get caught in a couple of months, and you may get a fine. That would probably be it. Maybe like a $300 fine or something. Anyway, his excuse was he wanted to buy Skittles. Well, there you go. Skittles are expensive, and they were right there, and he didn't have any money. What are you going to do? Skittle fix. That's right. Love that. Brian Parliament, hello to you, sir. Hey, brother. How are you? Hope you're well. Hope Canada is treating you well at this time of the year. I know it's winter up there, and it is the opposite down here. It is summertime. I wonder if I do that. You can see that's how bright it is outside. It's the middle of the day. It's 1:30 p.m. on a Saturday here. It looks like it's dark. It looks like it's nighttime. It looks like I'm part of the North American time zone, doesn't it, in here? It's like, oh, yeah, he's in the dark with us. He's at nighttime. Yeah, no, I'm not at dark at all. Look at that. That's great. The Drew says he knows that he's a great actor, absolutely, but it depends which Drew we're talking to. If it's the Drew of the 24 Drews that there are, is which one is the best of those? That's what we want to know. Vigilante, I mean, banning, shunning. I know what you mean. Yeah. Well, it it almost seems like, as I said, the punishment has been worse by everyone knowing about it and talking about it. If rather than the actual punishment that he would get from the justice system. Really, it was Caleb. To be honest, says Lagia, I have no idea who that Caleb guy is. What did he steal? It was a phone purse, apparently. So for Skittles, it's a huge story. It's breaking news here on the Hollywood Mate Connelly live channel. Skittle thieves, phone purse thieves. No, he's not a Skittle thief. He's a Skittle purchaser, a Skittle connoisseur. Do all Skittles taste the same is an interesting question. I know the answer. Do you? Same with M&Ms. Does not seem like that kind of guy. Yeah, well, there you go, says Brian Parliament. Maybe it was just a bad decision at a particular point in time. Phone, a purse, he denied until proven on camera. Oh, always innocent till you're proven guilty. If you've stolen something, people are accusing you of it, you're probably going to deny it. You're not going to be like, oh, yeah, all right, you got me. Yeah, here's your thing. Do you want some Skittles? Why did you do that? He wanted some Skittles. Easy answer. That's crazy. Cannot judge a book by its cover. Well, one bad action does not make a person's life, So don't be too hard on the guy. Banning. Well, that may create a liability to a promoter. Yeah, I'd steer clear of action. He knows he screwed the pooch getting caught. I imagine he'll lay low for a while. I think you're absolutely correct. And as we've discussed here, that everyone in the community now knowing him as a thief, he has one of two options. One is to lean into it and change his nickname to the Thief and say, look, hey, I stuffed up. I'm an idiot. I apologize to the people. I apologize to everyone that, was involved with it. I'm working on ways to make myself better. But in the meantime, hey, let's have some fun with it. Yeah, I'm the thief. Hey, everyone call me the thief. The thief is here. Watch your wallets. Watch your purse. Put everything away. I don't know. You have that ability. The other side of it is if you want to become a recluse and let this ruin your life, which at the end of the day, no one wants somebody else's life to be ruined. We want you to still be involved in the sport of arm wrestling, as long as you don't steal anything from anybody else. It's been above zero for a while here now. Are you using Fahrenheit or Celsius, my friend? I'm not exactly sure, because zero to me is probably something different to you. Steal the rainbow. I like that. That's very clever. Yes, instead of ride the rainbow. What is it? No, what's the catchphrase? Ride the rainbow? Catch the rainbow? Catch the rainbow? I can't remember. I haven't eaten Skittles for a very long time. He stole a purse to buy Skittles. What the? It's a common crime. It's happening. All the cool kids are doing it. It's the latest craze. There's still one thing from that's everyone's goal from now on. Steal one thing until you get caught. But here's the thing. When you get caught, you have to reveal all the things that you've stolen. So you see how long you can go and how many events you can attend stealing things until you get caught. But once you get caught, then you have to give everything back and revealing, remember you've been looking for that aftershave bottle for like 3 years. Yeah, I stole that back at the tournament in Canada. Yeah. When you weren't looking, I took that. Here it is, though. Like, I got caught stealing phone cover for Skittles, so yeah, I got to give everything back. That's your aftershave. I got some socks. Whose socks were these? Yeah. got to make a game of it. You got to make it fun. You got to make it challenging. Steal the event's prize money. Oh, that's clever. I like that. 300 IQ. Yes. Well, I'll taste the rainbow. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Steal the event's prize money. Well, didn't they have an issue recently with there was a tournament that people didn't pay, or the money for the athletes didn't come through, or something happened with it and they didn't get paid. I didn't really follow the story too closely, as you can tell. But yeah, always bad when that happens. But I don't think it was because somebody stole the money. I think. Anyway, maybe it was Caleb. Maybe that's where he got his Skittle addiction. Taste the rainbow. It was taste. I thought it was ride for a second, but no, that's not right. It's taste. Don't worry, bro. It's my character now in arm wrestling. Yeah, well, hey, what are you gonna do? Everyone now knows you as the thief. You might as well bloody use it. It's not a bad nickname. And then you get to embarrass yourself forever. And it's the worst. Well, it's the best kind of punishment. You're like, yeah. I'm a thief. Yeah. And then 10 years later, why do they call you the thief? Oh, I stole some money off somebody at a tournament to buy Skittles. Hand burglar. Like that. It's like a special progressive jackpot. If you get caught, that person, so whoever catches you gets the items. That's even better. Yeah, I like this game. I like this game, but I'm now worried that people are actually going to do this. We should do this, but not with stealing. Is there a version of this where nobody gets negatively affected? We'll have to come up with something. Maybe you could steal, not steal. Why did steal come out of my mouth? I don't know. It would be fantastic if you could do something where it's like every event that you go to, everyone does or tries to do this one thing. And then if you manage to pull it off several times until you get caught, and then when you get caught, the person who caught you gets all of the benefits. So it's sort of like Highlander in a way. Maybe that is how Highlander started. It probably came from an arm wrestling tournament where somebody stole somebody else's phone purse to buy some Skittles. And then somebody else was like, what if there was swords? Steve Kaplan, steal the prize money. Steal the prize money from Steve Kaplan. Oh, Steve Kaplan, WAL, is it? That's him, isn't it? The billionaire that ran WAL, who's always on the fringe of coming back, apparently. Oh, yeah, it's coming back. Yeah, it's gonna be back. Sure, it's just never coming back. Ryan Bussiere, hello to you. I'm probably saying that incorrectly, but hello to you, Ryan. Great to see you in here. Friday night for you guys, Saturday afternoon for me. More than a few events that didn't pay out through the years. Yeah, it's disappointing. I have heard that, and obviously coming from like originally the MMA world and still heavily involved in that, I have seen a lot of amateur tournaments where that has taken place, where you're following a certain fighter or whatever, and they're like, hey, I'm competing in this amateur tournament on the weekend, and they've cut weight, they've done all the training, they know their opponent, the game plan, they're in shape, they're ready to go, they've done the weigh-ins, and then the day of the event, the promoter's like, somebody stole all the prize money, I've got no prize money, don't know what happened. And then the event's cancelled. Or they do the event, and then the promoter's like, oh, yeah, I'll send you the check in the mail. Yeah. And they do not do that. So with our tournaments that we've run where there is prize money, like cash prize money, when people pay their entry fees, it goes into my jeans pocket where it sits until the winner of each class is announced. And so the way we run our tournaments is we run the division all the way through to the finals, have the grand final, and then the winner, first, second, third, get money, and I'm right there on. Usually I'm refereeing, so it's like, okay, great, well done, you're the winner, congratulations. Let me get out the money. Here's your money. Okay, very good. And then let's do the next division. And then, okay, here's your money, and here's your money. Oh, I am out of money. No, you would hope that wouldn't happen. You'd hope that your entry fees cover the expense costs. Otherwise, you are going to be pulling it out of your own wallet instead. But you must do that to honor the people who have paid the entry fees. And too bad if that is on you. That is the risk that you take as a promoter. This video will be Exhibit A in court. Yes, absolutely. To be clear, phone and a purse. Oh, you're adding to it now. You said a phone purse. Phone and a purse and more. Oh, and more. There's more and more. I think the phone was in the purse. More tea towels, but it's moot, really. So to be clear, there's a phone, a purse, and more. An elephant, a skateboard, 3 burger ring packets that were empty. I don't know why I took them. That was weird. A set of headphones with a strap that makes your hair look silly. That was a good one. I'm happy that he stole that, actually, because whoever he stole it from, now the hair looks fantastic. I said, wow, your hair looks amazing. What have you been doing differently? So I don't know, but my headphones have been missing. New name, the Candyman. That's actually pretty good. I like that. Very clever. You're getting some very clever suggestions from you guys today. Obviously, Greg is not coming on. I don't know. Let me see if he's seen the message. He hasn't seen the message. He's a very busy man, so he may have, I don't know, something else on. Something else may be running late. Lots of meetings. When you're launching a network television station, I'm sure there is a lot of people wanting your attention. So, unfortunately, we haven't got Greg on the show, but we're having fun anyway. We're talking trash, and we're having some fun moments. Steve Kaplan is also an owner of a gaming esports team. Very random. Well, that's cool. Which game is it? Do you know? There is I think the world's, I don't know if it's the most popular game, but it's the one that has the biggest prize pool at the moment. League of Legends is the name of the game. Not a fan of it, personally. It's like a top-down view of characters this is how it looks like to me, that they run at each other a little bit, and they attack and then they run away. And then they come back and they attack and then they run away. And then attack. Pretty much the entire time. And the announcers are like, he ran off, amazing. I don't like it. I do like watching Street Fighter tournaments, where people actually fight virtually. They don't run off. You can't run off in Street Fighter. Anyway. Phil Woody, hello to you, sir. Mats, what's your percentage of followers from the UK? It is a smaller percentage. I'd say 90% of my viewers are actually from India, which goes to show you how big that sport is over there. And in terms of on lives, you guys probably know each other. You'd see everyone that's in the chat now on all sorts of streams everywhere. But in terms of the people who are watching arm wrestling around the world, the most by a mile is India. And it's not even by a little bit, it's by a huge percentage. So if I brought up my stats, which I might do in the background, I'll see if I can bring that up, where it breaks down per country, like who's watching, and it's like India is number 1, and then you can combine the next 20 countries and they won't even be a quarter of what India is. And I think that's the same like worldwide viewership. So it's not just my channel. I mean, it's the same with Ryan's. It's the same, like if you just used the Google AdWords and looked up, say, arm wrestling, it's like which countries, and look up arm wrestling the most, and it's yeah, India is astronomically into arm wrestling. The team is called Immortal. Not sure which games they are involved in. Well, if he's sponsoring a team, they're probably well established in a very well-known game. So the biggest payday games that I can think of off the top of my head are StarCraft 2, League of Legends. Counter-Strike isn't as well paid. It's up there, but it's not in those upper echelons. Not sure which game it would be. Maybe somebody could look it up for us. It's Steve Kaplan's Immortal gaming team. Which video game are they playing? I'm guessing it's going to be League of Legends or StarCraft 2, maybe. Nah, it's more Korea that does that. Oh, here you go. It's League of Legends. Ah, thank you very much. I just checked. It's League of Legends. And Valorant. Yeah, Valorant is a newer title, I believe. I don't know if it's a first-person shooter. I've heard the name. I don't know a lot about it. I haven't played it. But yeah, I think it's relatively new. But League of Legends, I don't know why that game is so popular. I don't like... Does anyone here watch it? Does anyone like it? Does anyone play it? It doesn't seem like that much fun to me. Anyway, Immortals houses teams. Are you putting an S on every word in this? You are. Look at this. Immortals houses teams in esports. You're lucky I haven't got a lisp. I would be devastated trying to read that sentence, Mr. Feedart. Immortal houses teams in esports such as League of Legends, Overwatch, Super Smash Brothers, and Counter-Strike Global Offensive. There you go. I did mention Counter-Strike and League of Legends. Overwatch surprises me a little bit. I didn't think it would be that popular. Super Smash Brothers especially. That is a Nintendo game. It's a fighting game where you're trying to knock the other guy off a cliff. And I sometimes it surprises me when things get popular. And I'm like, why is that a popular thing? It's sort of... there's certain sports out there. I'm like, how did enough people want to do this for it to get this popular? And then on the flip side, it's like, how is this not more popular? Kaplan is a major investor and on the board of directors now for the team or League of Legends. The Drew says, I think some event organizers think they will only pay if they can from entry fees. And if they didn't budget correctly or whatever, then, oh, well, people don't get paid. Yeah, that is not a good way to be a promoter. And that's probably the people that you'll be finding that are not paying out. Yeah, you have to, at any time, it's like, okay, if I'm going to be running an event, I have to take full responsibility for every aspect of this event, including the money side of it. And it's like, am I offering prize money? Yes, I am. Okay. Well, if I don't raise enough money through my entry fees, then I must pay out of pocket for the people who win the tournament divisions. That is a risk that should motivate me to get as many entrants as possible so that I don't have to pay out of pocket. So you should be doing as much marketing and promotion of the event and ringing people and trying to get other clubs to come along. Anybody and everybody, come along. Are you coming to my tournament? Yeah, it's great. Okay, it's on this date. It's here. It's at this place. This is how you get in. It's $50 per arm. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, if you're not doing those things and you're just sitting back and you're like, yeah, I've got to put a tournament on. Yeah, it's next week. It's somewhere. I don't know. And you get 12 people turn up and you're giving away $1,000 per division. You've got 10 divisions. It's just like, you didn't plan this very well. Lagia says, I probably shouldn't say this. As a game artist, oh, here we go. The rest of this sentence is going to be interesting. But I'm also surprised by how popular and enjoyable esports are to so many people. Yeah, well, I do really enjoy watching video games, with the games that I like watching that are really suited to my interests. And I like watching high level players compete against each other because I know that their skills are something I could never do. I could never, like with say Street Fighter, for example, I could never do those combinations that they're doing. The one frame links, the tech that they've got, the option selects, the just insane different strategies and timing and everything. It's so beyond my ability. And to see people that are that good at it, that's the appeal for me. It's like, I just can't believe this person is this good. And, especially if they're competing against other people that are on the same level, it's absolutely incredible. It's sort of similar with arm wrestling, although there is that different aspect where with arm wrestling, because you cannot feel the power that's coming from somebody, you've got to sort of imagine it where, you think, oh yeah, I could probably give Levan a bit of a go. Like he'd be impressed. I think he'd be like, yeah, you're not that far away. Yeah, you're doing all right. Reality is it's like a child versus him. But because you can't feel the power that he has by watching, it's completely different. Whereas when you're watching a video game and like you've played the game, it's the same for every single person who sits down and plays it. They all have the same skills. It doesn't matter. You pick this character, he's got this skill set, whatever. And depending on your skill set and how well you can utilize that character's abilities, that comes down to the person. So when you're watching it, it's like, wow, I can't believe this person can do those things with this character. That's absolutely insane. And what is it? Twitch TV, which is a streaming site, has more people watching Twitch TV, which is the majority, I think, online gaming, like live streaming gaming. More people watch Twitch TV than watch television, like free-to-air television around the world at this point. Phil Woody says, I was hoping to convince you to change your lifetimes to more UK friendly. Obviously, I'm miles out, mate. More the India morning arm wrestling show with your host, Bollywood star Matt Connelly. Yes, that's great. It's weird, like the English time and the Australian time is basically completely opposite. It's almost like 6 p.m. is 6 a.m. So it's very difficult to try to find a good time. I remember I was trying to schedule a meeting with Paul Maiden and Marcus Thompson, and it was like when I was looking at the time zone planner, and it's like, 8 p.m. is 8 a.m. Oh, that's not good. I was like just trying to find some time where it wasn't really bad for both of us. I think we ended up going at 8:30. And I think it was 8:30 in the morning for us, 8:30 at night for them. But yeah, it can be very tricky. The Drew says, I don't. Most are actually trying to steal the money for themselves, but people are people. Yes, absolutely. No, you're right. You're right. I'm just having fun, Drew. It's what we do on the show. But yeah, stealing is not a good thing unless you're stealing to buy some Skittles because your name is the thief. Then people should expect you to do. They go, yeah, well, hey, it's the thief. What were you leaving your phone around him for? Lock that stuff. That's the thief. It says on his shirt. If anyone's missing anything, that's the guy there, that one with the thief. And he goes, yeah, that's me. Sorry. No, you got me. All right. I was hoping to get away with it, but bloody shirt and the nickname and everything. Kaplan board member for Immortals. Okay. Am I saying it right? Is it Immortals or Immortals? Because I reckon there's been a couple of different spellings of it, but it says Immortals here. Anyway, also note he is owner of the Grizzlies, the NBA, the basketball team in Memphis. So banking on growth and future of esports combining with major league sports. Not a bad idea. Steve Kaplan seems to be one of those guys. This is a trend that I've noticed with the uber wealthy, is that they get an interest in something for a short period of time. They invest a lot of time, effort, and money into that thing. They get it to a certain point, then something else takes their fancy and they move on to the next thing. And whatever it is that they had established dies without them, because without their driving force and their motivation, their vision, their everyday pushing of whatever it is that they are currently interested in, as soon as they move on to the next thing, they haven't built a solid foundational network of people that can take over for them. Same thing happened with the wrestling with WCW. As soon as they lost the, what's the guy's name that was running the network? Ted Turner. As soon as Ted Turner went on to do something else, within 6 months, WCW was finished. But up until then, they had been outperforming the WWF at that time every single week, because Ted Turner was really into wrestling all of a sudden. He bought up all the stars, offered them huge amounts of money, got them all to come over and start wrestling in WCW. They were putting on big shows, putting in a lot of money, and well outperforming the WWF. And that happened for maybe 2 years or something like that. And then Ted Turner was like, oh, I'm interested in this thing now. And so he went off to do that. And whoever was running WCW didn't have the same abilities to manage the whole wrestling side of things that Ted did. And yeah, 6 months later, all those guys that are under contract with WCW are now out of work, because the whole company folded and they're going back to WWF and begging for their job back, which some of them got their jobs back, but they were very handily embarrassed by Vince McMahon. So, oh, you want to come back? Yeah, sure. You're now the janitor. That's your character. You're not the assassin anymore, and I don't care if you've got a big following under that character name. You're now the janitor, and you're going to get beaten up by all of our guys. I don't know, as punishment, I guess. But yeah, I think the same thing happened with Steve Kaplan and the WAL. He got really into arm wrestling for a certain period of time. He built the league, and they had some amazing events, and still is referenced today as some of the best stuff going around in terms of getting that feel right and having an audience and a big production and all the rest of it. But then his direction started going somewhere else, and he moved on to other things, and what happens? WAL disappears. But he's one of those guys that it seems to be the same with a lot of people in that position. They hold on to, oh yeah, it's got to come back. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do it one day. Yeah, it's definitely coming back. 2025, yeah. And then 2025 will come and go. Oh, I meant 2026. Yeah. But I've just got all these other things I'm doing, but I will do it. Yeah. Anyway. Phil Woody says, I'm great, thanks, though, Matt. Off to a Neil pickup seminar in 12 hours. Always good to learn the dark arts. I wanted to drop in and wish you Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, buddy. Thank you very much, Phil. Always a pleasure to see you in here, and fantastic to meet you. And the interesting bit, I'm going to skip a couple of comments here because I just saw this as well. White Wolf is here. White Wolf, he says, Matt, Aroo. And I wanted to bring that up because both Phil and White Wolf did such a tremendous job helping out in the Arm Gods setup for the tournament that we had over there. Was it Valhalla? Was it called Valhalla? I can't remember what the name of the tournament was, but we were over in Ireland, and I can tell you that leading up to the event, there is always a lot of setup that needs to take place, setting up chairs and lights, and getting the music and sound right, and all of those things, running cables. And Phil and White Wolf were volunteering their time and desperately running around helping as much as possible. They're helping both Marcus and Paul to get the event looking as good as possible. And they did it for, off their own back. They weren't required to do it. They weren't being paid to do it. It was just that they wanted to help in any which way that they could. So amazing to see that. Matt should be cancelled for having fun on this podcast. How dare I? It's outrageous. I'll have to delete the entire thing now, or I'll just mute it. That'd be better. You just mute it, and then you would just see me laughing. I go, what's he laughing at? He's probably laughing at his own jokes again. Just like that. The Immortals. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it is the Immortals. Thank you very much. Yes, because I saw it a couple of times. It was someone wrote Immorals, and then someone else wrote Immortals, and I was like, which one is it? But Immortals, it appears, is the correct Steve Kaplan esports team. Lagia says, investors can be a big problem in game development. I have no personal experience of that, but I know that they can straight up ruin projects with their gigantic billionaire brains. Yeah, that's one of the problems in a lot of industries, and I'll liken this to the film industry again because we were talking about that earlier. But when you're on a big budget film, there is always somebody that's just sort of hanging around. They're just hanging around. It's like, who's that guy over there? It's like, oh, that's the money. It's like, what do you mean? No, that's the money guy. What do you mean the money guy? He's here at the request of the investors or a investor who's financing this film or is a big financer of the film. And they are making sure that everything is running properly because they will be reporting back to the financier and saying they're running way behind schedule. You better get on the phone to them and tell them to hurry up. Or like, this was a problem. You know, you better get on the phone and start hassling them about this. So yeah, there's a double-edged sword when you request funds from somebody else. It's like, yes, you get that money and maybe you can make that project, but you do lose a lot of creative control or a percentage of creative control because now you are at the behest of somebody who has given you the money and they want you to run it in a certain way. And maybe they've got the ability to stand over you with, well, if you don't make the ending that I want, or if you don't change the character to look like this, or in the game, it's like, if you don't make the level look like this, then I'm pulling my money out. And good luck finishing your game or your movie or whatever it is you're doing, or your arm wrestling tournament without me. So depends on the person, you know. It's difficult because sometimes the only way forwards is you might have all the creative concepts, you might have all the ability, all the skill, all the resources that you need to put on an incredible event, but you're just missing the money. And it's like, well, hey, I can give you the money, but I want to change this, this, and this, and this. It's like, oh, I don't really want to change it because like, this is my vision and this is how I think it's going to work really well. Well, I ain't giving you any money then, you know? So it's like, all right, we'll change it. And then you put on an event that's not, it doesn't work as well because they made the decisions when they're not actually part of the industry. You know, that's where you get a lot of what you hear, studio interference. Usually when they filmed a movie, or if they're pushing a movie through and then you hear, oh, they had a lot of studio interference, that is because the people who are financing the film would start making demands, and whether that's the studio, whether that's the investors, and they would say, you better change it like this or we'll pull our money. And so they make the changes, but that person, that financier, isn't a filmmaker, or they don't understand the concept, or they don't get the vision, or, you know, they aren't the creative person, they're just the money person. And so maybe they ruin the actual product by doing the change that they thought would work better. And it's like, stick to your lane, mate. Anyway. Oh, says the Drew to White Wolf. Great to see you, White Wolf. Haven't seen you for a while. Merry Christmas to you. Mr. Peanut says, live stream killed reality TV. Kaplan was king of reality TV, and major legal issues with Disney. 2017, ESPN fires almost 100 people, and Kaplan never signs deal. Cancels Las Vegas event and quit. Well, there you go. Yeah. There's a lot of things to dissect with that comment. You know, at the end of the day, Steve Kaplan decided to move on to other things. Maybe one day he'll come back to arm wrestling. At this point, I doubt it. I think he's probably done what he wanted to do with the sport, and there's probably other things out there that have more of his interest. And then it's like, okay, hi, I want to do this arm wrestling thing again. It's like, well, here's the amount of effort and time and money you're going to have to put in to get it back up and running. It's like, oh, forget it. White Wolf says smashing people with folding metal chairs doesn't count. You did that for free as well. It was a great photo of White Wolf going to hit somebody in the back of the head with a folded chair. It's very, very classic moment. Was it you that fell into the thorn bush? This is hello to Drew, and there's the Arm Gods website. Please go check them out. They are doing tremendous things over in the UK. Paul Maiden and Marcus Thompson, good friends and good people, and they do a fantastic job with the arm wrestling side of things. They put on fun, crazy, different styled events, and they have some unique characters. It's all very very nuanced. It's like you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. And I think most people would love it. Lagia says, I think it is sometimes an issue where the investor has no actual knowledge, respect, or passion. That's exactly what we were saying. It's like, yeah, they're just some, oh man. That's exactly what I said. Like, thank you for agreeing with me. Oh yeah, yes, exactly. Yeah, there you go. Internet killed paper, physical media, and encyclopedias. Remember how much those book sets cost? The Encyclopedia Britannica. Yes, and they were so bloody thick. The book was about that thick. And you go to look up something, and you'd have to like, you're like, okay, which letter am I on? P. All right, I wanted to get to M. Where am I now? C. Damn it. Yeah, a lot easier to use this thing. It will give you all the answers in the world. White Wolf says the time for the documentary is quickly passing. I don't know if the documentary is something that is on its way out. I think documentaries will always have their place, to study the history of what people are doing and to present it in a way that is interesting. I think that always has value. But yes, in terms of like regular free-to-air TV, that is long gone. And I mean, I've had my TVs here in this house. We've been in this house for almost 10 years. I've never plugged them in. They're plugged into the power, and I run like the internet on there, and I'll stream movies and stuff, but the aerial cable is not plugged into the thing. Like, it's like, why would I want to watch free to air TV? It's like, it's full of ads. You don't get to choose what you're watching. During the day, it's terrible. In the middle of the night, it's terrible. You only get decent stuff in prime time, and it's filled with ads. It's like, I can just load up Seinfeld right now if I want to. Like, anyway, I can do it on my phone even. Kaplan is smart enough to know there is no money in the sport. Yeah, well, it is at that level where it's on the fringe still, but I think that most people would agree that the growth of the sport has been exponential, especially over the last couple of years. We've seen big things happening in this sport, and more people getting aware of it and getting involved in it. I mean, we just had Eddie Hall and Brian Shaw, two of the biggest social media stars in terms of sport, in terms of niche sports, I guess you could say, coming from a strongman background. Obviously, your soccer players and your traditional sports are going to have huge followings, but in terms of your niche side of things, your Larry Wheels, Eddie Hall, Brian Shaws, Hathor Bjornssons, that have millions of followers, dedicated followers that are very, very interested in what they do, and they are jumping into the arm wrestling world. So it is on the rise. I think at this point in time, we're going to see exponential growth continue for the sport, and hopefully it will start hitting that mainstream point where everybody wants to start doing arm wrestling. Once it gets there, that's when we'll see larger amounts of money coming in. The way it is structured now, yes, fair enough. Is it true that Robert Baxter bought King of the Table and is now the CEO of both leagues? It is. That is correct. He is indeed. So this is an interesting position. I don't see too much changing in the near future. But yes, Robert Baxter has now purchased East versus West and King of the Table. He has appointed Engen as the CEO. A similar thing happened with the UFC. So when the UFC started with Dana White and the Fertitta brothers, they were the three owners for a long time, 20-something years. And eventually they sold to WMEIMG, which is a huge, big company which owns a massive amount of media and film studios, and they own a lot of stuff. So they now own the UFC. They bought it for $4 billion, of which Dana White got $333 million. But they appointed Dana White to continue on as the CEO. So he's no longer an owner in the company. And at any point in time, depending on the situation, WMEIMG can fire Dana from that position. So you will see the same thing happen with Engen, as in Steve Kaplan being the owner. Will at any point in time, if he decides to, he can appoint a new CEO. There would be certain conditions around that. You can't just be like, I'm sick of you, get out. You'd have to have certain time frames and, exit packages and all the rest of it. But yes, essentially, he is in control of both leagues now, which is interesting. It's an interesting time. We'll see what happens. I know there's a lot of people that have had major dramas with Engen, and maybe that this is a way that Robert can see the value in the league and say, we'll keep Engen on in this position and then see how he goes. If the behavior that has caused major dramas continues, and maybe I'll make some changes. But he has the right to do that as the owner. Where are we? The deadliest catch is a Kaplan cash cow. I didn't know that was his show. He was banking on success as reality TV. He was chairman of board at AMC when it aired. AMC sold all sports-related content to ESPN for $60 million. Is that all? $60 million? Seems like a low amount. I guess it depends on what sports content that they had, but that doesn't seem very much in this day and age. $60 million. I think the format the Propanja League is set up could be more attractive to more people and better for viewing on TV. You could have that format for 98% of the pullers and keep King of the Table, etc. for the top. Yeah, that's one of those things that is quite interesting. And we were talking about this on the show earlier this week, is that I think that there's a lot of people that are trying different things in the sport of arm wrestling and trying to find what is the best way to present the sport. Like, what is the way that audiences want to watch this? Is it a tournament format? Is it the super match format, like the pay-per-view stuff? Is it the league stuff that Propanja is doing? So you're seeing a lot of experimentation at this point in time until it's like, this is the way forwards. Like, this is what people really enjoy. We're getting a lot of people really great positive feedback. It's building, it's getting more and more attention, and that's what we're going to go with, whatever that is. That applies to not only the presentation of the sport, but the rule set, the table design, the athletes that are involved. There's so many different factors. So I don't think that it has been found yet. But the good thing is that we're seeing lots of different styles that are out there. I mean, you've got the very, very strict style with WAF. It's like, is that viewer friendly? Personally, I don't think it is at all. You've got East versus West, which has built in a lot of audience over the last couple of years, but they run under a pay-per-view model, and they also tend to stack their cards with 18 matches or something, and it goes for like 6-7 hours. Is that the way forwards? I don't think that is either. Is tournament formats like what we're doing with AWE the way forwards? Where it's a 45-minute to an hour run event with 8 guys, a double elimination tournament, and you get to see the entire thing play out right there and then in front of you. Is that the way forwards? Well, we're finding out. So we're trying lots of different things. White Wolf says, not documentaries in general. The Devo documentary time is passing. Going, soon gone. The Devo documentary time. Oh, you mean the Devon? The Devon one? I just want clarification, White Wolf. I'm guessing you mean the Devon documentary. Yeah. Not sure, mate. Haven't heard anything about it. But yeah, it does seem like they're missing the window of popularity for the moments that they would have filmed, because I think they were filming a lot of it around Laverne Devon 2. So that it's quite a while ago now. Are people still going to care by the time they release it, if they do release it? And the Pro Punja League format would be an excellent feeder for the elite event matches too. Yeah, well, it's interesting because Pro Punja, their viewership is astronomically high. And speaking to Abhishek Singh and Praveen Davas, who run Pro Punja, their feeling was, we don't need to expand to the rest of the world at this point. We don't need them. Like, we're doing hugely well here in India. 32 million people watching their event. It's like, why do we have to go and conquer the United States at this point? Let's build this here, make it into something absolutely incredible, and then we'll start moving into other areas. But I think it's a good game plan. I think, conquer your own zone first and build that hype until it becomes like you must expand this. Like, people are desperate for you to go to other countries. I remember I don't talk about UFC all the time, but when I used to watch the UFC back before they started doing a lot of international events, and I was just like, man, I would love it if they come to Australia. It would be so amazing. It'd be so incredible. I couldn't imagine the day that they actually came here. And then eventually, over a few years, they started expanding, and people were demanding that they would go anywhere and everywhere. And they announced they would come to Adelaide to Australia. They ended up going to Sydney. I think it was UFC 110, and it was a sellout. It was a huge arena, and every fan of mixed martial arts and UFC was there, and everyone was there for the weigh-ins. The weigh-in whole arena was packed. The open workouts were packed. From the very first fight, the entire arena was full. So everyone wanted to see it. I think they're waiting to build to that level where everyone's desperate for them to come there, as opposed to, we'll just go there and try to take over. It's like, we don't need to do that. We're doing very nicely here. Pro Punja League has solid format and excellent TV market for arm sports. Absolutely, they're doing amazing. The Drew, the UFC swear jar has to be stuffed by now. Yeah, they should have used it for my Christmas present shopping. Does anyone else feel like East versus West should be rebranded eventually? The East-West theme just has no place anymore. I think that's a fair point. I do indeed, because, like, let's say I wanted to compete on the card. Well, let's say I had the opportunity. I would never, because I'm not skilled enough. But let's say I had the opportunity to compete on East versus West. It's like, well, I'm not from the East and I'm not from the West. So which group of fans are going to be cheering for me? Because I'm from the South. Am I classed as the West because we speak English and have very similar culture to the United States and North America, or where do I fit in there? Or am I classed as the East because it's that European style? It's like, yeah. So yeah, I think you're absolutely correct. The East versus West name was great for what I think they started it out with, and it's like we're going to get the best guys from Europe to go against the best guys from North America. But over time, you're going to have to expand that. It's like the UFCjunkie.com website that I am an administrator for, which is now owned by USA Today. Started as UFC Junkie. It is now MMA Junkie because there started to be a lot more MMA organizations out there, not just the UFC. White Wolf says, if so, like he is throwing away money for passion. This is not the UFC. And branding is everything, says White Wolf. Absolutely. Drew says, yeah, I would like to see the Arm Gods version of that. Once a year type of thing. Have all the clans battle it out. Well, you'll be in for a treat at Winter Blast next year. It's going to be a massive event, and Arm Gods have partnered up with that event, and they will be there in force. It's going to be a lot of fun. And if you're in North America, make sure you get along to that tournament, because I think it's probably the biggest in terms of entrance for the year that they had there last year. I think they had almost 1,000 people. And it's going to be probably even bigger this year, especially if Arm Gods is partnered up with that event. East versus West is flagship for pro arm wrestling under WAF. That's true. It is. Absolutely. I think we were just discussing the name change and whether it's still relevant to call it East versus West. The square jar. Yeah, I know. Dear Drew, my dear. Yes. Your swear jar is my 401k. Yeah. Is it a classic swear jar though, White Wolf? Is it just swear words, or do you have a specific thing that if you talk about that thing, you have to put money in? I should have it here. It's at the podcast studio in the city. I can make another one. I'll just make another one, and then every time I'm talking, you'll hear a clink of the money dropping in. Where are we here? Okay, 60 million. To AMC for all sports related. Oh God, 60 million to AMC for all sports related reality TV. They backed away from reality TV as they were cutting unprofitable programming. Fair enough. Yeah, 60 million. I mean, for all sports related reality TV. Oh, reality TV. Okay, yeah, all right, that makes more sense. Right. Yeah, you stuck in a loop. Yeah, that was confusing me for a second there, because White Wolf, you wrote the same comments like 3 times in a row. Nobody cares about arm wrestling, especially not White Wolf, especially not the people that are in here. I think so, Drew. The 80s. Come on, mate. Devo would be so disappointed. What if his documentary didn't come out? Yeah, I think he would be disappointed, but I don't think it would make too much difference really on his path or his trajectory that he's on at this point in time. He's over 1 million subscribers on YouTube. He makes a full-time living from arm wrestling. So he's probably pretty happy. 32 million TVs tuned in for Pro Puncher with an average of 4.7 viewers per set. Whew. So maybe over 100 million people watching, which is White Wolf. Nobody cares about arm wrestling. Over 100 million people watching in India. 100 million people. Zero money there. 32 million. Yeah. Free viewers, sure. You know that they have ads and sponsors and shirt sponsors, and people give them money for that. Zero money to get out of the country. I'm not sure what your image of what India is like. There is definitely poor sections of the country that are still what you would sort of class as maybe third world. But there are some very, very big money people over in India and some amazing cities that would rival those of the United States significantly, if not bigger and busier with, more economic money flowing through them at this point in time, I would say. Not that it's a competition, but if you're thinking that there's no money in India, I would think that you may not be as well educated on their economic culture. They won't pay there. They don't have to pay. If it's on free to air TV and you get a enormous amount of viewers, which is what they're doing, if you are commanding a massive audience, then people will want to advertise on your program. The average pay-per-view in India is $1. That's true. And nobody buys them. That's correct. If somebody buys a pay-per-view, they haul a TV outside for the neighborhood to watch. Yes, pay-per-view models don't work in India. It's just not part of the culture there. The biggest buyer of pay-per-view is North America, specifically United States. I think your date stood you up. I think so. I think you're absolutely correct. He still hasn't seen the message. He must be very busy. He is a busy man, Gregg Sharp. There's a lot of things going on. That's okay. We'll reschedule, but I'm having fun talking with you guys anyway. Advertising paid for it? Yep, absolutely. Matt, you're West, UK. Oh, I'm the West, yes. UK is West. Origin is Western civilization. That's origins are Western Europe. A lot of folk in the United States do not realize East versus West is based on European roots. Yeah, well, that's the thing is, from a mainstream audience's perspective, when you say East versus West, it's like, okay, it's Russia versus America. Immediately, that's what people think. Russia for the East, America for the West. It's only those two countries. There's no other countries involved whatsoever. So you go, this is an event where it's the East versus the West. They're like, oh, it's Russians versus Americans, is it? So actually, no, it's Australians versus Georgians. Like that's not East versus West. I don't know. Been to India many times. Oh, fantastic. There you go. An ex-merchant marine. There you go. White Wolf. I'm not saying that you have done anything wrong or you've said anything wrong, White Wolf. I'm just talking about potential ways that the sport could grow. And I think when you've got 32 million people watching your event, there is absolutely an ability to make money out of that. USA buys most pay-per-views and cocaine. Coincidence? Yeah, well, we weren't in the Marines, were we? Most people that I know have not been out of Australia. That was weird. I just got like 8 people that jumped on and then jumped off again. So my viewership went whip and then gone. They're like, let me look at this. Ah, nah. But they all did that at once. That's weird. Rookie, well, give us a list, White Wolf, of where you've been. I'd love to see it. I can tell you where arm wrestling has taken me, which I never thought it would. I didn't think that when I started this sport that I would be traveling the world doing it. I've been to India twice, once to New Delhi, once to Mumbai. I've been to Ireland, which is where I met yourself and Phil Woody and a lot of the other amazing people that were over there. And where else I've been? Well, I went through Turkey on the way there. I've been all around Australia doing this as well. Brisbane many times, the Gold Coast, Sydney, Melbourne. It's so weird to think you're getting on a plane to fly across the other side of the world for an arm wrestling event. Even when you tell people that, they're like, what? You did what? Why are you going to India? Why? For what? Is that a thing? Is that a real thing? Have you heard of slap fighting? Because those slap fighters, geez, yeah, that's let's talk about that instead. No, it's not related at all. Matt, you should make a nice documentary of your Indian adventures, voiceover explaining this and that, add appropriate music, make it a nice little production, 30 minutes maybe. You have a lot of material. That's true. Absolutely. I could do that, Drew. One of those things is just the time. It is editing stuff takes a long bloody time and a lot of effort. Yeah. But I would love to do it, and maybe I will one day. China is the real untapped market, says White Wolf. Yeah, well, we'll have to get into the Chinese market then. We're seeing a lot of the Southeast Asia is really starting to rise in terms of starting to put on events, and Greg Yeo and Solar Run and a lot of the guys that are over in that region are putting on big things and getting people involved in the sport in a big way. So I know that Greg has some contacts in China and that they have clubs there and that the sport is there. But as to what capacity, I am not sure at this point. But sure, I mean, we would love to see everyone and anybody getting involved in the sport. And that's one of the fun things about it is you don't have to be able to speak the same language as somebody else, but you can just jump on the table with them and have fun. White Wolf must have a set of tattoos to go with that travel. You would hope so. I don't remember him having too many tattoos. Mostly I remember him running around like a madman, dragging cables and chairs and helping people with everything. Phil Woody says, but the Rocky IV soundtrack did it the best. It's East versus West. That's right. Yes, you can't go past the Rocky IV soundtrack. One tip, if you're doing cardio in the gym, don't put on the Rocky soundtrack because you'll end up going way harder than you intended to. That's happened to me several times. I'm like, why did I put that on? Because I can't move now. Lagia says, I have traveled the world just to watch two men aggressively hold hands with a strap on. That's right. They're going deep inside with the strap on. It's a hooker with the strap on going deep inside. I know people who could help you. Oh. What if I send them the wrong video, though, Drew? What if I send them one of those sort of videos? Will they still help me? Singapore is inviting. Absolutely. Yeah. There's lots of things happening in that region. This is the thing I'm talking about, that the sport is growing all around the world. And we're seeing events and organizations and leagues popping up all over the place. I mean, I'm sitting here in Adelaide, South Australia, the very bottom of the world. And I'm heavily involved in this sport. Run an organization, run a club, run podcasts, YouTube channel, Instagram posts every day, t-shirts, all sorts of things that are happening. I put on demonstrations in gyms and it's like, and I'm in a small city in a country that is so isolated from the rest of the world. So anybody can do this and have fun and grow the sport. I really enjoyed watching it. Yeah. What was that in I watched two people aggressively hold hands with a strap on, and I really enjoyed watching it. Absolutely. Yes. And I watched it many times with many different men for hours. There was chalk. There was slipping. Phil Woody says, my wife is the unrecognized, undisputed slap fighting champion. Married 15 years ago. Her record is 57-0. Fantastic. That's what is it? The Billy Connelly joke. He says that he was driving through the hills of Scotland, and there was a sign. He passed a house. There's a sign, and it said for sale. Entire set of Encyclopedia Britannicas no longer required, as wife knows everything. I could get help with those other videos too. Ooh, package deal. I like how you said package. All right, here's White Wolf's list of countries that he's been to. Immediately, I don't see Australia on there. Let's move on. No, I'm just joking. Canada, you can't put Canada. That's where you live. Canada, the USA, that doesn't count, White Wolf. That's like me saying Melbourne. Anyway, Mexico. All right, Belize, Brazil, Colombia, Peru, Argentina, the Falkland Islands, the Canary Islands, Spain. Did you put this in alphabetical order? No. Spain, Portugal, France, the UK, Ireland, Germany, Norway, Sweden, Russia, South Korea, and China. Well done. And not even close to the end. Well done. That's great. What was your favorite place and why? You better say Australia, even though you haven't been here. Why haven't you been here? All those places. A podcast when your guest didn't show. That's correct. He hasn't seen the message. It was scheduled. I did confirm with him, but as we said, he is a very busy man with a lot of things going on. So that's okay. We'll reschedule and get it done another time. Billy Connelly, the legend. Indeed. Strangely enough, we share the exact same birthday and almost the same surname. There's one letter different. But yes, good old Billy, the big yin. If you don't know who Billy Connelly is, he is a stand-up comedian from Scotland who's been around for about 60 years and is a very funny man. There we go. All right. Well, I might look at wrapping this up, guys. I'll probably give it another 2 minutes. If you've got any final questions, let me know and I will answer them. But as far as what we did today, I'm very happy with, even though Gregg wasn't here, we still had a great time. And it's only because of you guys in the chat that I'm able to do this. Otherwise, it would literally just be me talking to myself. And although I can do that, it's much more fun to talk with you guys and talk about the sport that we all love. White Wolf says to Peanut, "Ha, Peanut, I'm the abnormality in that world. 0 tats." Well, yeah, I thought you didn't have any. Just lots of thorn bush scars, I think. But my daughter asking me to get matching tats. Oh, okay, that's not a bad idea. That's kind of a cool thing. Like if you're going to get a tattoo for a reason, that's a pretty good reason to get one. I'll keep going off you want, Matt. I'll keep going off you want, Matt. I'll keep going off you want, Matt. I don't know. I don't know what you mean. And Phil Woody has chimed in just with the letter E. There's 2 great comments in a row here. White Wolf writes something that makes no sense, and then Phil Woody just puts the letter E. I thought you'd at least have a shell back. God damn, there's 3 in a row. I don't get that one. What's a shell back? What are you talking about? Birth in Perth. Well, you didn't put it on the list, White Wolf. You put Canada. You live in Canada. I've traveled to Canada. Yeah. It's like we are in Canada now and have been for the last 30 years. Yeah, but I traveled here. Yeah. Oh, it's great. I'm holding on because I want to know what you meant by that comment. And Mr. Peanut as well, the shellback thing. I'm hoping that's not like a racist thing, and I'm saying it several times. I've had that happen before where it was one of the guys had a nickname, a fighter nickname that he didn't like, that I didn't know he didn't like that. And I was saying his nickname, and somebody's like, he absolutely despises that name. That's like a joke. That's like a really nasty joke. And it's like, oh, no, I didn't know that. I won't be saying it anymore. Lots of thorns galore. That's right. Yes, perfect. Greg for FTG. What's the FTG? For the go? For the no? I don't know what the acronym is. Always good to catch a live. Take care for now, folks. Thank you, Phil. Shellback turtle, Mr. Peanut says, which signifies a sailor has crossed the equator and is considered a shellback in nautical tradition. There you go. Perfect. I've never heard that before. That's very good. Going on, not going off. Okay, I get what you mean. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Well, the countries that you've been to, yeah. There is many countries that White Wolf has traveled to. But that's great. I mean, well, that's one of the advantages of being in the military. The E for Connelly. I do get it now. I understand. Well done. I was the one who was making the mistake. Well done. That list is only 1/3. Okay. I'll have to talk to you about that and find out all of the countries. But you didn't answer my question, which was your favorite one and why. I might hold on to get that answer because I'm kind of interested to know that. And if anyone else has traveled to another country that was their favorite, I'd love to hear why it was your favorite and where it is. Just before we jump off, because I do find those things interesting. Peanut knows. Well, that doesn't help anybody else. Oh yeah, Peanut knows. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, no one else gets to know. Selfish White Wolf. Outrageous behavior. So good to have you guys on here. We're coming up to the new year. 2025 is going to be big, especially for the sport of arm wrestling. And I'm so happy to have the ability to talk to everybody in here. So thank you again, everybody. I'm going to head off now. It is still bright and sunny here. Aha! I have the ability to go out and do things, whereas you are at the middle of the night. I guess you can do things in the middle of the night as well, but whatever. Let me have my moment. All right. Thanks, everybody. I'll give you the last double biceps. Quite happy with how that's looking. That's why I'm holding it a bit longer. All right. I'm going to end it there.